Good afternoon, New York.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to Solar Impulse. You know, for André Borschberg and I, it's a great pleasure not only to show you the plane and explain you what we've done, but much more than that, to explain you why we're doing it. Because what you have here behind is the first and only solar airplane which is able to fly day and night with absolutely no fuel.
Woo!
Which means that during the day, the sunshine is giving enough energy to the solar cells to simultaneously run the 4 electrical motors and charge the batteries that will make it through the night until the next sunrise. And then the plane can catch the sunrise, continue the flight a second day, and theoretically forever. I say theoretically because, of course, in this plane there is no autopilot, there are no toilets, very cramped cockpit. So the airplane for the round-the-world flight will allow André and I, always one after the other because there's only one seat, to fly for 5-6 days in a row. So we've been flying across America because we've been inspired by America when we were young. You know, the conquest of space, the first flights with airplanes, everything happened here. It's a country of pioneers. And we had this airplane flying over Switzerland because it's a Swiss project, flying over Europe, flying across the Mediterranean. And before the flight around the world, we thought, wow, the real great place to fly would be America. And when we have a dream with André, usually we make it happen. But why do we make it happen? You know, because we understand that if we want to succeed, we need pioneering spirit. We need to be able to explore the unknown, to explore completely other dimensions than the one that are made out of certitude, safety, common assumptions and paradigms. And it's really interesting to observe in our world how many people are stuck into their problems, how many people are prisoners of the past or prisoners of their habits because they don't manage to be able to think outside of what they have learned. Solar Impulse is a good example for that. When we wanted to build this solar-powered airplane, we first asked to the airplane industry to subcontract the construction of the plane. And they all said it was impossible. They all said it was impossible because we knew from the feasibility study that André had done that the plane needed to have the wingspan of a 747, that means about 210 feet, but the weight could not be more than a small car, that means 3,500 pounds. So when you present it like this to the airplane industry, they just say it's not possible. Why is that possible? Just because they had never done it. And they didn't think that maybe there would be alternative ways of construction, alternative ways of having materials in order to do it. So actually the partners we got were partners who were outside of the aviation world. And they brought the technologies needed to have this airplane energy efficient and light enough to be able to fly through the night. Because if the airplane is too heavy, the sink rate will be too high. It means the plane will lose altitude too much during the night, and the batteries will never be enough to make it to the next sunrise. So those were technology contingencies, constraints, that we managed to solve. Then, of course, we have to bring this airplane to its real use, and the real goal of the project, which is to demonstrate what we can do with these technologies for everybody's life, not just for flying. Because we won't probably fly in a solar-powered airplane with 200 passengers in the near future. It would need 1 kilometer of wingspan or something like that. So, of course, it's not practical. But the technologies we use on board, that means the best electrical motors, the most efficient batteries, the lightest carbon fiber materials, the lighting system that is so efficient. You've seen it in that film. When we have the 16 landing lights on, it burns less electricity than what we have in a bedroom. The solar cells incredibly efficient solar cells, the insulation to keep the pilot and the batteries warm. All this can be used everywhere. And if it was really the case, if the entire world was using this type of technologies, already today we could divide by 2 the energy consumption of the world and produce half of the rest, that means half of the second half, with renewable sources. It's possible. Why don't we do it? Well, we don't do it especially because of this lack of pioneering spirit in the industry and in the political world. There are so many people who will just answer, why should we do something different? Why should we change? We have oil for 30, 40 years. It's enough. After that, we don't know what will happen, but we don't care, but let's do it now. And there are so many more ways to do. And this is what the world needs, actually. The other ways to do. We need these other ways to solve all the challenges of the 21st century. Adventure now is not anymore to go back to the moon because it's done. The adventure of this century is to make a better quality of life on this planet. It's about human rights. It's about fighting poverty. It's about medical research. It's about better governance on the planet. It's about sustainability, protection of the environment, energy issues. And for this, we need this pioneering spirit. This is really what we want to promote. So I see with your enthusiasm that you are really good ambassadors of this message. And you know, this is for André and I something absolutely wonderful, is to realize that we are not alone. When we flew from San Francisco to New York, one after the other, we had a memory stick in the cockpit with 40,000 names of people who had signed up on our website. It's for free. Just sign up and you can come and travel with us as virtual passengers. But more than that, it shows also to the rest of the world that people care about these issues, that people really are ready to encourage the political leaders and the industrial leaders who would like to introduce these clean technologies much further on the market. Because this creates jobs, it makes profit, it's an incentive for economical growth, and also it protects the environment. So it's a win-win situation.
Right.
So please, look at this plane and remember one thing. 10 years ago, this was considered to be completely impossible. So when you go back home and you have your own challenges, professional, private, as parents, as children, going to school, going to universities, remember that there are not a lot of things that are really impossible. If we have this pioneering spirit, if we manage to take the question marks and the doubts as stimulation for our creativity, when we're obliged by the crisis and the problems of life to get out of our comfort zone, we can be so much more efficient, so much more performant. So at the end, it's not only a question of renewable energy or energy efficiency for a machine or for the industry or for everything on this world. It's a question of human energy. Do we want to be the one who are successful? Do we want to be the one who are fulfilled? Because we have dreams, we have goals, we have objectives, and we try to reach them. And we believe that together we can do it. Because, of course, Solar Impulse is the result of a team. It's not just 2 pilots who have fun in flying. Otherwise, this airplane would never have existed. So it's teams, it's families, it's a company, it's associations, it's clubs, it's everything that brings people together and bring enough human energy, enough hope, enough dream to make what we want happen and get a reality, be a reality. So we can be the ambassadors of that spirit as friends of Solar Impulse. Have a very good afternoon and welcome to Solar Impulse.